The Apex Dynamics headquarters wasn't just a building. It was a monument to ambition. The floors gleamed, reflecting the cold, hard attitudes of the people who walked them. And no one's attitude was colder or harder than Evelyn Reed's. As the senior vice president of acquisitions, she saw her workplace as her personal kingdom. Her heels clicked with an authority that made junior employees dive for cover. Evelyn believed in two things: results and appearances. Anything or anyone that got in the way was just an obstacle she had to remove. And on this particular Tuesday morning, the obstacle was an old man holding a mop. "Are you blind?" Evelyn's voice cut through the lobby's quiet like a shard of glass. She pointed a perfectly manicured finger at a tiny smudge on her $1,000 shoe. "This is Italian leather. Do you have any idea what you've just done?" The elderly janitor, Samuel Jones, looked up. His face was a roadmap of wrinkles, but his eyes were calm and gentle. He leaned on his mop, his body stooped from a lifetime of hard work. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Reed. I didn't see you coming." "You didn't see me?" she scoffed, a laugh dripping with pure condescension. "I'm the senior vice president here. People see me. Your job is to be invisible, to clean up messes, not make them. Look at this. In front of everybody." She waved a hand at the few people in the lobby, who were now frozen, staring at the scene. "I can try to clean it," Samuel offered, his voice soft as he reached for a cloth. "Don't you dare touch it." Evelyn snapped back as if he were covered in filth. "You think your filthy rag can fix this? You are absolutely worthless. A relic. This company is about innovation and the future, and you're just a walking symbol of decay." The cruel words just hung there in the air. Samuel's calm expression didn't change, but for a split second, a deep hurt flashed in his eyes. But Evelyn wasn't done. This was a performance, after all. "You know what? I'm sick of looking at you. You're a depressing reminder of mediocrity. You're fired." A gasp went through the lobby. Firing a janitor was one thing, but doing it so publicly, so viciously, that was something else entirely. "Fired?" Samuel repeated, his voice still quiet. "Yes, fired," she spat. "Pack up your whatever it is you people have. Your mop, your bucket of failure, and get out of my building. Your very presence is probably devaluing my stock portfolio." With one last glare, she spun on her heel and marched to the elevator, leaving a stunned silence behind her. Samuel just stood there, holding his mop, a lonely figure in the vast, empty lobby. Up in her glass-walled office overlooking the city, Evelyn felt a rush of victory. She didn't see it as cruelty. She saw it as a necessary corporate cleansing. She was trimming the fat, showing everyone what decisive leadership looked like. She even recounted the story to her protégée, Chloe, who listened with a mix of fear and admiration. "You have to be ruthless, Chloe," Evelyn said, taking a sip of her oat milk latte. "This place is a shark tank. You either eat or you get eaten." That old man was dead weight. He was a stain on our corporate image, just like the one he left on my shoe. Chloe nodded, but she couldn't get the image of the old man's face out her head. "But what will happen to him?" Evelyn just shrugged, a picture of pure indifference. "Not my problem. He'll get some pathetic pension, I'm sure. The point is, he's gone." The annual board meeting is this afternoon, and it's the final vote for the new chairman. I'm on deck for the executive VP spot, and I won't let some dusty old janitor get in my way. Meanwhile, downstairs, Samuel was quietly packing his things into a small cardboard box. A few longtime employees came by to say goodbye. Maria from reception, with tears in her eyes, tried to give him a small envelope of cash they'd all chipped in. "We're so sorry, Sam," she whispered. What she did, it was monstrous. Mark, a young guy from the mailroom, shook his head in disgust. "She doesn't speak for all of us. You've been here longer than she has, and you've always been so kind." Samuel managed a small, sad smile. "Kindness is a currency some people just don't value, son. Don't you worry about me. You all just keep up the good work." He gently patted Maria's hand but pushed the envelope back toward her. "You keep that. Buy yourselves a nice lunch." He picked up his box, which held only a worn-out book, a framed photo of a smiling woman, and a thermos. With a final nod, He walked through the revolving doors, gone for what everyone thought was the last time. The main boardroom at Apex Dynamics was on the 50th floor, a space designed to make you feel small. A single, massive table sat under floor-to-ceiling windows that gave you a godlike view of the world. Evelyn Reed felt right at home. She took her seat, portfolio ready, confidence soaring. Dressed in a sharp power suit, she was a very picture of success. The other board members filed in, their faces grim, all murmuring about the day's only real agenda item, confirming the new chairman of the board. The seat at the head of the table was empty. The company's acting president, Mr. Harrison, cleared his throat. "Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, today we officially welcome our new chairman. The board's decision was unanimous. For the last 6 months, he's been conducting a unique review of his company. He wanted to understand it from the ground up before taking over." Evelyn felt a surge of pride. She was sure her department's amazing numbers hadn't gone unnoticed. Mr. Harrison went on. He believed the company's culture is its greatest asset. He wanted to see how our employees treat one another when they think no one important is watching. So, he's been among us, in disguise, observing. A ripple of shock went through the room. An undercover chairman? It was crazy, but also kind of brilliant. He has seen the dedication in our mailroom, the warmth at our reception desk, and the arrogance of some of our senior leaders, Mr. Harrison said, his eyes flicking toward Evelyn for just a second. Evelyn felt a tiny prickle of doubt, but pushed it away. She was a top performer. Her methods were tough, but they worked. "Without further ado," Mr. Harrison announced, turning to the large double doors. "It is my great honor to introduce you to the majority shareholder and new chairman of Apex Dynamics." The doors swung open, and in walked Samuel Jones. He wasn't in a janitor's uniform anymore. He was wearing a perfectly tailored dark gray suit that probably cost more than Evelyn's car. The stoop in his shoulders was gone, replaced by a quiet, unshakable authority. His eyes were the same, gentle and calm, but now they held a piercing intelligence. He wasn't the janitor. He was the man who owned the entire building. The boardroom was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Jaws were on the floor. Evelyn Reed's face, once flushed with confidence, was now ghost white. The latte she drank that morning felt like a rock in her stomach. This couldn't be happening. It had to be a nightmare. Samuel walked slowly to the head of the table and took his seat. He put on a pair of reading glasses and looked around the room, letting his gaze finally land on Evelyn. "Good afternoon," he said. His voice was just as calm as it was that morning, but now it commanded the entire room. "I am Samuel Jones. For those of you who don't know me, I founded this company in my garage 35 years ago with my late wife, Eleanor." He nodded toward the framed photo, now sitting on a shelf behind him. "I stepped away from the day-to-day work about a decade ago, but I've always been the majority shareholder." He let that sink in. "I decided to come back because I heard whispers that the culture of respect we built here had been replaced by a culture of fear. So I came to see for myself. I took a job as a janitor because I wanted to see this company from the bottom, not the top." He looked right at Evelyn. She looked like a trapped animal. "And I learned a lot," Samuel continued. "I learned we have wonderful, hard-working people like Maria at the front desk and young Mark in the mailroom. And I learned that we have managers who think a title gives them the right to humiliate other people." He paused, the silence stretching. "This morning I was fired for being, and I quote, worthless and a stain on the corporate image. I was told my presence was devaluing the company." He folded his hands on the table. "Ms. Reed, you're a brilliant strategist. Your numbers are incredible, but you have no idea what true value is. You see a janitor and you see someone disposable. I see the person who keeps the engine clean so it can run. You see an old man and you see a relic. I see a lifetime of experience. You think respect is earned by a title. I believe it should be given freely, simply because we're all human." Evelyn finally found her voice, but it was just a weak, trembling whisper. "Mr. Jones, I had no idea. If I'd known who you were—" "If you'd known," Samuel interrupted, his voice firm but not angry, "you would have treated me differently. And that, Ms. Reed, is the entire problem. Your respect is conditional. It's a tool you use to suck up to your superiors and crush those you see as beneath you. That isn't leadership. It's bullying. He turned to the rest of the board. My first act as chairman is to restructure our leadership. We're going to promote people based not just on profit, but on character. Mark from the mailroom will be entering our junior executive program. Maria from reception will be our new head of office administration. Then his eyes came back to Evelyn. Her fate hung in the balance. The room held its breath. As for you, Ms. Reed, Samuel said, his voice leaving no room for argument. This morning, you told me to get out of your building. You were mistaken. It's my building. Your services are no longer required. You're fired. As security escorted a sobbing, speechless Evelyn from the boardroom, her reign of terror was over. The sharp click of her heels was gone, replaced by the quiet dignity of Samuel Jones, who had finally come home to the company he built. It's so easy to judge people by their job, their clothes, or their age. We look at the janitor or the person serving our coffee and see their function, not their humanity. But true character isn't about how you treat your boss. It's about how you treat the person you think can do nothing for you. Because you never really know. The person you dismiss today might just be the one who owns the building tomorrow. And real worth isn't found in a job title, but in the simple respect we show to everyone, no matter who they are.